Hello everyone. This is the lecture for Advertising Promotion MRK2102, Chapter 16, dealing with sales promotion. For this chapter, we have 5 objectives. 1, to understand the role of sales promotion in a company's integrated marketing communications program and to examine why it is increasingly important. 2, to examine the various objectives of sales promotion programs. 3, to examine the types of consumer and trade-oriented sales promotion tools and the factors to consider in using them. 4, to understand how sales promotion is coordinated with advertising. And then 5, to understand or to consider potential problems and abuse by companies in their use of sales promotion. Now, the bottom line in terms of the purpose for sales promotions is that they really want to somehow entice trial. When I say trial, what I mean is I want someone to actually get out of the chair, off their couch, and actually buy my product if I'm a consumer, or in case of a trade, I want them to somehow use my product and promote it. So the bottom line is what I'm trying to get folks to do is sell, stock, use my product. Now, there are basically 2 different types of sales promotions. One targets the consumer, and the other one targets the trade. So first, let's talk about the consumer-oriented promotion and reasons why they're there in terms of increased sales. And we're not going to talk about all of these, but do want to talk about a couple of these. One is that more and more consumers are becoming more sensitive to price of products, and so they have increased promotional sensitivity to overall how much they're spending, let's say in the grocery store. You have brand proliferation, so you have more and more competition out there. You have more and more folks out there with different brands, so somehow you want to stand apart from your competition. Also, you have the growth of digital marketing. Now you can download, and we'll talk about this in a minute, coupons to your phone. And now you can walk in there and then show the person at the cash register the coupon on your phone and get money off a particular product. So again, you have that part that also is a reason why you have an increase in sales promotion for different companies and different industries. Now, there are a couple of concerns that folks have. One is anytime you do something with price, in essence what you're doing here, in these cases, you're kind of impacting price potentially or the value equation. It can devalue the brand. So folks might see it as less than what it is. They might wait for a deal to come before they actually purchase the brand. So that's a concern. It also encourages consumers to purchase primarily on the basic price, which I just mentioned, and also leads companies to funding a short-term promotions and neglecting advertising. So if I think the way to get folks to buy my product is to use promotion, not really build the brand through other brand building activities like advertising, that can also be an issue when it comes to sales promotions and overall impact on a brand. Now, there are a handful of objectives for consumer-oriented sales promotion. One, as I mentioned before, is I want to not only entice trial, but also want people to repurchase my product. Also, I want people to I want to increase my consumption of an established brand. So if I'm not there already, I want folks to increase their purchasing of my brand. Also, I want to make sure I keep the folks who are current customers. I want to make sure I defend those folks. Also, you might target a specific market segment. That's a objective for sales promotion. Also, it's a great way of tying a lot of different things together for your communication strategy all together, so it can enhance the integrated marketing communication approach. And also, it can be used, if used correctly, a way of building brand equity. So here are some key consumer-oriented sales promotions. Okay, the first one I want to talk about is sampling. Okay, so as they define it, giving some quantity of a product for no charge to induce trial. So you might, for example, go into a Kroger or a Walmart on a weekend. They might have someone in there cooking sausage. That's an example of a sampling strategy. maybe you might in a magazine you subscribe to, they might have a coupon for, not coupon, they might have a sample of a shampoo or a cologne. Again, I'm trying to get you to sample a product. Hopefully, if you sample it, you'll like it, and then you'll come in and you will buy the product. So you have in-store magazine. Also, you have unpackaged sampling. Different ways you actually can sample and you track consumers through sampling. You have couponing, most widely used and most effective sales promotion tool. Now, there are studies that show that 9% of people at some point in time will use coupons. Actually, about 13% of people use them on a regular basis. Annually, there are 3 billion coupons distributed. And nowadays, with, again, coupons being able to be done on your phone, it is so easy for folks to do it. Again, that's why it's actually a very effective way of sales promotion. You have premiums. Okay, premiums are offering a product or service either free or at a low price. Okay, so again, it's an offer of an item or merchandise or service, again, either free or low price. That's actually extra incentive for purchasers. You have contests and sweepstakes. Okay, consumer compete for prizes on the basis of skills or ability. Maybe if you submit an idea, the best idea submitted will win X number of dollars. That could be an example of a contest. You have sweepstakes. So winners are determined purely by chance. Does not require a proof of purchase. Probably one of the most well-known ones is the one McDonald's will do typically in the spring or in the wintertime when they do Monopoly, where they encourage folks to come in. You have different things you can win playing the Monopoly game, whether it's a large drink or whether it's on a Big Mac. You can win free fries, you can win money. The pieces then can be put together like you're playing the game Monopoly, where you then can win larger prizes. And then you have refunds and rebates. Okay, refunds and rebates, a great example of this is when recently I had some work done on my car by my brother-in-law, and I went and I bought the spark plugs, and they had a rebate. So with the proof of purchase, I could send this in to the manufacturer. They then would send me back $2 per spark plug that was purchased. Now, here's a question I want to ask you. Do you think that rebates are unethical? Because some folks do. And the reason they think that some might be unethical is because if you don't actually send in the rebate, then they actually have kind of really charge a full price. Now, some folks will say, well, that's your problem, not the manufacturer, but also some people argue that that may be unethical. So what do you think? You have bonus packs. Now, bonus packs will offer the consumer an extra amount of product at the regular price. So maybe, for example, you might get 30% more shampoo, or you might get 30% more 409 in a bottle. Those are examples of bonus packs. Price off deals will reduce the price of the product right there. So you might see on there 35 cents off. And again, it's offered right there on the packaging. You have loyalty programs where they will offer opportunity to accumulate points for continuing to purchase their brands. Many restaurants use this strategy. So if you go to a Subway and you get a card, so maybe for every 10th 6-inch sub that you purchase, you'll get one for free. I know that I've been to Hi-Hat Burritos on a couple of different occasions, and they have a loyalty program where after so many subs purchased, not subs, so many burritos purchased, you will get a free burrito. So, and these programs are designed to keep you coming back and keep you loyal to their particular brand or restaurant. You also then have event marketing. Now, event marketing links a company or brand to an event where a themed activity is developed. It also creates experiences for consumers for promoting a product or service. So when I was at Ford and I worked in the Lincoln Mercury division, we did a couple different things. We actually did research and found out that the U.S. Open, the tennis tournament, that particular person who likes that event actually was very consistent with the Lincoln buyer. So we, for a while there, were a sponsor and primary sponsor for the U.S. Open. So when you watch that event, you would see on the net, you'd see the Lincoln logo. We also had some promotions and events around the actual U.S. Open. So again, that was an example of event marketing. Also, when I was at Lincoln Mercury, from Mercury's standpoint, we were a sponsor, more of a local sponsor of different golf tournaments. So the Memorial Golf Tournament in the Columbus, Ohio area, we had an agreement where we actually provided the cars for the different golfers to drive when they're there in town. And then dealers provide that. They got free tickets they give to their loyal customers. At the same time, the cars would come back, and what a better promotion, say, you know what, I think this car was driven by Tiger Woods, or this car was driven by Phil Mickelson. So what a better way to get someone to buy a car than say, hey, this car was driven by somebody who maybe you might be familiar with. Now here's a nice chart which really talks about, depending on what your marketing objective is, going across the type, whether you're trying to induce trial, whether you're trying to retain customers, whether you're trying to build your brand, and then also going down the left side, whether that's going to be an immediate impact or a delayed impact, and which type of sales promotion would be most effective. So for example, if I'm trying to induce trial and I want immediate impact, maybe a great example might be in-store sampling. So come sample this piece of sausage, and then while you're there, standing right beside where the person's doing the sampling is the actual product itself. So here it is, you like it? Hey, here it is, your chance to buy this product right off the bat. But let's say, for example, I'm trying to, again, induce trial, but have a little bit more of a delayed response in terms of how it's set up. Maybe I might do a mail-in refund rebate, as I mentioned before with the spark plug. So there's different things you can do in terms of sales promotions based on what your objective is, and also whether it's going to give you an immediate or delayed response. Now, as I mentioned before, we talk consumers. Now let's talk about trade-oriented sales promotion. And here, what we're trying to do is we're trying to, again, just obtain additional distribution for maybe new products that aren't out there anymore. So I'm trying to encourage the trade to carry these products. Maybe I'm trying to, again, just maintain my established brands and make sure I keep them in front of the trade. 3, encourage retailers to display established brands. So I know you have my brand, but I really want to give a little more attention by maybe putting on an in-aisle display or in the middle aisle. Or maybe what I'm trying to do is just kind of build my inventories with the trade, with the retail. Now we're going to talk about all these different types of trade-oriented promotions. So POP displays, sales training, trade shows, contest incentives, co-op advertising, trade allowances in terms of buying, promotional, and also slotting. So like with consumers, there are also contest incentives for the trade. So these might be cash payments made directly to the sales staff to encourage them to promote a product. And this is intended to, what they say, is to push the product out into the system. So when I was at Lincoln Mercury, we might give a $50 bonus or $100 bonus for each, let's say, Lincoln Navigator that a salesperson would sell. Okay, so again, that is an incentive for them to go out there, bone up on their information about the Lincoln Navigator, and then really try to find a way of pushing that product out to the consumer. You also have trade allowances, which are a deal offered to encourage resellers to stock, promote, or display the manufacturer's product. So maybe for every case of Tide that you take into stock during a given period of time, I might give you 50 cents a box off of that type of thing. So it's a trade allowance. You also have displays in point of purchase material. So when you walk into that store, you might have something that would grab the eye of the consumer that would encourage them to buy that product. So it could be something like a big logo on the floor. It could be a information that pertains to the product, gives more information about the product. It could be a display at the end of the aisle or in the middle of the walkway. All those are examples of displays in point of purchase materials. You also can do it through sales training programs. So when we used to launch a new car, I would go out to the different areas in the like Columbus and Indianapolis and Cincinnati and Louisville and Lexington and Charleston, and I would do training. I would train them on the new products coming out and maybe have a refresher course on some of the existing products out there in order for them to become more versed in the products that we were offering, and which would make them more comfortable in selling this product. You also had trade shows, which are forums where manufacturers can display their products to current and prospective buyers. Probably one of the biggest and well-known ones is an electronic trade show that goes on in Las Vegas, usually the beginning part of every year. So all the new gadgets and gizmos for the electronic industry are on display in Las Vegas once a year. And then you have cooperative advertising, which is a cost of advertising is shared by more than one party. So when I was at Lincoln Mercury and I was the regional marketing manager, I had a fund that I would use to encourage dealers to promote Lincoln Mercury products. So I would go to them and say, hey, are you advertising this weekend? They might say, nah, I'm going to skip this weekend. I'd say, hey, let's do this. If you advertise in the Friday and Saturday paper, I'll go half with you. Okay, so tell me the cost of the ad. If it's $10,000, I'll give you $5,000. You put in $5,000. That way we get some exposure out there for a particular nameplate or either one of the brands, either Lincoln or Mercury, maybe even both. So again, what we're doing is we're kind of going in together in advertising cooperatively Lincoln and Mercury products. Now, there are different types of trade allowances. So you have buying allowances, which I mentioned before, again, which is going to be a price reduction of merchandise ordered during a fixed period. So again, hey, if you ordered, 10 cases of Tide, I'll give you $10 off for each case that you order. Promotional allowances given for performing certain promotional activities in support of a manufacturer's brands. If you actually put us in your store flyer, I'll give you $1,000. If you do anything else related to promoting our brand, maybe you have a TV in your store. If you get us on your TV and you're talking about, buy the P&G product and it's on a reduced price, that would be an example where I might provide some promotional allowances. You have slotting allowances. Now, slotting allowances are a little controversial with some folks, and what they are fees retailers charge for providing a slot or position to accommodate a new product. Now, let me ask you a question. Again, it comes back to this idea of whether you think the idea of slotting allowances are ethical or not. Because some companies, i.e. P&G, will not pay slotting allowances. I don't care who you are. Okay? They're saying that, hey, I'm P&G, I should have to pay slotting allowance. When we produce a product, it's going to be successful. But then on the other side, you kind of understand from a retailer, and again, keep in mind that in the grocery industry, your margins are very, very small. So when I take a product off the shelf that may be making money, in order to put your product on the shelf, which may not make any money in terms of because it's new, then there's a bit of a risk for me. So I want to make sure that I'm covered, and I might charge you a slotting allowance for a smaller company. But now you see where the issue comes in terms of if I'm a smaller company and you're asking me for a slotting allowance, that puts me at a disadvantage versus a larger company like P&G that won't pay a slotting allowance and probably shouldn't have to because when they produce products, they're going to be successful. So some companies also ask for what are called failure fees to be paid to retailers if a new product does not hit a minimum sales level within a certain amount of time. So again, these issues of slotting allowances and failure fees, which are understandable why folks request them, are a little bit on the controversial side. Now, one of the things about the sales promotions is that it's very important to make sure they're coordinated with other advertising and also with other IMC tools. So in order to be successful, you need to make sure that the program has a budget allocated to it, that there is some type of, again, coordination with your advertising as well as the promotion things, so it's really kind of seamless and you see one thing. And also, you make sure you have media support and also media timing for the promotion. Nothing worse than to advertise something and then get folks to come in on the advertising, but then I have the product in the store because you didn't do an effective job in terms of coordinating the sales promotion part of it.